Hello and welcome to today's lesson on the past tense. We'll be looking at regular verbs in the past and irregular verbs in the past, how to use them, how to form them, and then we will move on to the present progressive or the present continuous tense. We will distinguish between the past simple tense and the present progressive tense, when to use which tense and how. And then we will move on to the past perfect. Maybe some of you have heard of or were fans of Chester Charles Bennington. Let me tell you something about Chester. Chester Charles Bennington was an American singer, songwriter, and actor. He lived from 1976 to 2017. He was the lead singer in the rock band Linkin Park. He was only 41 years old when he passed away. Was, lived, and died are all past simple verbs. So the past simple is used with completed actions in the past. The duration of the action is not important, and the past could be a distant past or a recent past. Let's look at how to form regular verbs in the past tense. The affirmative form of the verb in the past tense is ed. We carried on with the test. The negative form is the auxiliary do in the past, did, not, or didn't, one word, and the verb. Neil and William did not copy each other's work, or Neil and William didn't copy each other's work. So we add ed to most of the verbs. But if the verb ends in e, we just add d. For example, like, liked, smile, smiled. If the verb ends in y, we change the y to I and we add ed. For example, copy, copied, carry, carried, marry, married. If the base form ends in a consonant, a vowel, and a single consonant, we double the consonant. So, for example, fit becomes fitted, stop becomes stopped, hop becomes hopped. Also, the vowel is stressed. But if the final syllable is not stressed, like flow or sway, we do not double the consonant. So, flow becomes flowed in the past simple, sway becomes swayed. Play becomes played. Snow becomes snowed. Just to tell you a bit more about stressed and unstressed syllables, the perfect example would be present. So if we are talking about a gift, we say present. The stress is on the first syllable. If we're talking about a presentation, we say to present. The stress is on the second syllable. Let's look at when to use the past simple. We can use the past simple with time references such as last night, or yesterday, or 6 weeks ago. Now the word ago is a useful way of expressing distance into the past, and usually it follows a time period. For example, 6 weeks ago, 2 hours ago, 5 months ago, 2 days ago. To give an example, I started working as a teacher over 7 years ago. So that is the definite point in time. We also use the past simple with for. So for 6 months, for a day or two. So that indicates how long a past event or action lasted. Gabriel studied in Venice for 2 years. So that's a completed action in the past. Using until, we waited until he left. So this indicates when an event or an action finished. Using in, the definite point in time. In 2010, in September, she started attending college in September last year. So let's look at how to form verbs in the past simple tense. For example, study. The Y changes to I and we add ed. So in the affirmative, we would say I studied, you studied, he, she, we, you, they studied. It remains the same throughout. And same with the negative form. We put the auxiliary verb in the past, do, in this case in the past becomes did. In the negative, did not or didn't, and the verb. So I didn't study, you didn't study, and so on. So the pronouns did not or didn't, the verb in the base form, and the rest of the sentence. He didn't go to the cinema last night. She didn't meet Lisa yesterday. Some common problems. Sometimes we forget to put the auxiliary before the verb when forming the negative, so we end up saying, she listened not to me, which is not what we should say. The correct version would be, she didn't listen to me. Or, I was go to the cinema instead of using the irregular verb I went to the cinema. So how do you feel about regular verbs in the past tense? If you feel that you are confident enough, you can move on to our next lesson about irregular verbs. If you feel like you need some further practice, go back to the start of the video and go through this once again.